This fight is not no ordinary fight. I know most people think so, but there's more to meet the eye when it comes to this fight. You know, I hear some people say that they wish for Anthony Joshua to lose simply because they don't like his fans or they don't like his supporters. I try to tell these people it's deeper than that. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of Deontay Wilder or you're a fan of Anthony Joshua. Are you a fan of boxing is the real question. The reason why I bring it up because if you are a fan of boxing, then you should actually want Anthony Joshua to win. See, this fight is bigger than just a fight. This fight is really about who's going to control the board. Let me tell you what I mean by that. If Andy Ruiz beats Anthony Joshua, Al Heyman will have his hands on all of the sanctioning belts. Okay? And the reason why that's so significant, because if you control the heavyweight division, you control boxing. Okay? See, before these lighter weight classes got the light shined on them, you know, everything is all about the heavyweights. Okay? Because the heavyweight division is the only division that can command casual attention. Okay? Most people who speak about boxing that's really not familiar with boxing always bring up the heavyweights. They don't bring in or bring up anybody else. And ironic as it may be, and if you pay close attention to this, the heavier you are as a boxer, the more likely you're casually known. As we know, the lighter weight classes gets no attention. You know, you really have to be a fan of the boxing to be into the flyweight divisions and all those other divisions below. You really have to be into boxing. So it's strange, but it's safe to say the heavier you are, the more likely you are to be known on a casual level. People may not pay attention to a Josh Taylor Regis Prograis fight, but when two heavyweight fighters are about to fight, you get people from all walks of life asking you about that fight, especially if they know that you are familiar and you are a fan of the sport of boxing. They tend to walk up to you and ask you, well, what do you think about Wilder? Well, what do you think about that Joshua guy? Well, what do you think? Because that's the kind of the attention that the heavyweight division demands. And the attention has always been on the heavyweights. The man who actually took attention off the heavyweights and put it on the smaller fighters was actually Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is the primary reason why the attention is now on the lighter divisions versus the heavyweight divisions. You know, he used to speak about this a lot, but up until then, the heavyweight division is the crown jewel of boxing. And therefore, if you want to control boxing, you control the heavyweight division. It is the most lucrative and it is the most commercial division out of all the divisions in boxing. Why is it a problem if Andy Ruiz wins? Because if Andy Ruiz wins and Al Heyman gets his hand on all those belts, boxing will go back into the dark ages as we know it. If you take the same man who has clogged up and held up fights in the 147-pound division, and you give that man some kind of sway over the heavyweight division, you can forget anybody fighting anybody in their prime, or that is an exciting fight for the times. You can forget that happens because look what happened in the 147-pound division. Look how many fights that should have happened that have not happened. Okay? You could just start with the stable of fighters from Gervonta Davis to Errol Spence, to a lesser extent Errol Spence, to the Charlos and all that. What exciting fights or what career building names have these guys got on their resume? Like I said, to a lesser extent, a Errol Spence. Okay, this is the same man that has been crafting the roadway for these guys' career, and you're going to put this man over the heavyweight division, because once he gets those belts, that's exactly what he's going to command. Now, it's one thing to have the best stable of fighters at the middleweight division and on down, but it's another thing to have those stable of fighters and to have all the belts in the heavyweight division in his possession. So once again, whether you are a fan of Anthony Joshua or whether you're a fan of Deontay Wilder, the question is, are you a fan of boxing? Because if you are a fan of boxing, if Anthony Joshua happens to lose on December 7th, what you see in the 147-pound division will now reign over the entire heavyweight division. And why is that so crucial? For the same reason the heavyweight division got a new breath of life. The heavyweight division wasn't revived under the umbrella of Al Heyman or PBC or anybody else, Top Rank or anybody else. The heavyweight division was revived because of the Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua UK faction. That's the only reason that the heavyweight division has attention. That's one of the only reasons boxing has got as much as attention as it has gotten so far, and it is the only reason why people even know the existence of a Deontay Wilder, because prior to Anthony Joshua, the 4 years that Deontay Wilder was a champion, nobody knew who he was. Nobody even talked, spoke, or even cared about the heavyweight division until Anthony Joshua came on the scene. So therefore, you can't expect a division to keep the excitement when, if Al Heyman gets his hand on all the belts, was not the reason why that division was lit up in the first place. What you're going to get more like in the heavyweight division now is what you see in the lower divisions. Okay, look how many fights we have pissed away. Okay, Leo Santa Cruz, Gervonta Tank Davis, Gervonta Tank Davis and Tevin Farmer, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. That fight is shot to shit. Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. That fight is shot to shit and holding on by a thread. Okay, these are all major big fights that we could have seen, but due to the lack of procrastination and people taking losses, those fights have lost interest and they have lost steam. Once again, let me reiterate that the heavyweight division is the crown jewel of boxing. Okay, regardless if the other divisions are still more popping. If you can get two heavyweights in the ring, you'll have people to show interest. People watch the heavyweight division because everybody wants to see two big guys slug it out, because it's more than likely that you're going to see a knockout. So therefore, the attention and the respect is greater. Therefore, the revenue is greater. So with that being said, for those wishing for Anthony Joshua to lose, you're actually wishing to get the same outcome that you have got with these so-called fights that we didn't get. You're going to get the same outcome in the heavyweight division. That's why I say this fight is bigger than just a fight. Okay, this fight is not just about Anthony Joshua and RUIZ. This fight is bigger. This fight is about who controls the board. Okay, this is a game of chess. Why do you think they made Alexander Usyk the runner-up for whoever the winner of RUIZ and Anthony Joshua is? That is strategic on Eddie Hearn's part as a contingency if Anthony Joshua does not pull off the win. They're playing chess out here because this is not just a fight. This is for the control over boxing. And if Anthony Joshua happens to lose, the same excitement that was brought into boxing by the Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua UK fashion will also leave with them as the titles and all those belts exit their possession and falls into Al Heyman's hands. You will now be getting as a whole division as what they do over there at the PBC. They're less than likely to fight anybody live. They don't fight anybody in their prime. You got to be coming up several weight classes, or you got to be on a long break or past your prime to get a fight. That's how the matchmaking is done over there at PBC. So the unification that we almost got to see and that was trying to be made from the Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn, UK fashion side of things, we will no longer see. Instead, I would like to think that they would split those belts up so they can have more individual champions. But one thing's for sure, if the people who turned the lights on in the division don't remain in power over the division, then the division will dwindle right back into where it was prior to Anthony Joshua. And that is darkness. Anyways, that's my thoughts on it. Leave your thoughts in the comments section. Bruce Vane, I'm out.